G'day there, you cheeky bunch of Star Wars supporters. It's episode 15 of How Uncivilized, where us two nerdy nincompoops take a deadly divulgence into Star Wars stuff meant for these eyes only. And trust me, these eyes ain't ours. It's part 3 of our 3-part special on the supposed JJ Abrams treatment for Star Wars Episode VIII. Hire a hotshot lawyer and strap in, because we're going to court. Right, cool. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the next episode of How Uncivilized. Today, I believe we're on episode 15 now.
Yeah.
So very tasty.
And this is the third and final part of our JJ Abrams treatment of episode 8 deep dive.
Yeah.
You know, once again, we're not sure if this is real. You know, if it is real, I'm sure these podcasts will be taken down very soon. And yeah, also remember early days treatment, so take everything with a grain of salt. Even if this is what they had in 2014, you know, things might have changed until they made the final thing.
Exactly. And a quick quick disclaimer, if you haven't listened to the earlier 2 episodes in our 3-parter, then go ahead before listening to this third one, episode 15, dive in at episode 13 and start from there, 13, 14, and 15. And for those who have been with us on that journey until now, hello. And welcome back. Yes, welcome back. Yeah, we're just going to...
I'm sure you're itching to find out what happens in Act 3 of Episode 8.
Oh, exactly.
A la JJ Abrams.
Aren't we all indeed?
Yes.
Desperate to hear what happens. Well, Charlie, do you want to kick us off with the start of Act 3?
Yes, I do. Let's jump right in. So we're doing this page by page, so we're just going to do this last half page, which is the beginning of Act 3. So this will just be a quick couple of paragraphs to get us back into it. So, Act 3, back on Acto, which, as we remember from the last episode, is not what it's called anymore because the planet has no name.
Exactly.
So back on Acto, great start, guys. Rey and Ahsoka walk through the rocky catacombs behind the first Jedi Temple. Ahsoka tells her the story of Darth Vader and her time fighting in the Rebel Alliance. Suddenly, sirens blare throughout the bell. Rey looks at the hourglass and sees there is still a small amount of sand left. Luke runs in to say he's...
Try it again. No, give another run at it.
It's worded so terribly.
No, it doesn't roll off the tongue, does it?
No. Luke runs in to say he senses intruders in orbit. Kylo Ren has found the planet. They run to their predetermined attack positions. Rey, Luke, and Ahsoka quickly put on their battle armor. Chewie and R2 streak down the coast of Acto in the Millennium Falcon, hoping to fight off the first wave of attacks.
Why are they streaking?
I don't know.
Running on the beach naked.
Well, neither of them wear clothes, so...
Yeah, to be fair.
Technically, they're streaking all the time.
Yeah, those filthy people. Moving on. Kylo Ren shoots out of the sky in his advanced TIE executor. Or executor? I don't know how you say that.
Executor, I think.
Yeah, TIE executor.
Oh, at least that's what they were going for.
Dathan Naught sits behind him. They're flanked on either side by 2 TIE fighters, flown by the Knights of Ren. What? So there's only 2 Knights of Ren?
I think there's a few Knights of Ren in 2 TIE fighters.
Oh, okay. Right,
because
that makes sense.
You can get like 2 people in each TIE fighter.
Yeah.
So that's maybe 4.
Ah, right. Weird. Anyway, so the Millennium Falcon attacks Kylo straight on. It's a dogfight over the island of Acto. The 2 TIE fighters break off and head towards the beach.
Okay, so first thing I'll point out there is that it says a dogfight happens over the island of Acto. So are they referring to the island as Acto in this version? So Acto is not the planet, it's just the island that Luke's on.
Yeah, it could be.
Possibly.
Yeah, that could be exactly what it is. I hadn't thought about it like that. I thought they were just being stupid.
Maybe this whole time they didn't make it clear. Maybe they weren't being stupid. Maybe they actually were just referring to it, the island itself, as Acto.
It could have been.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
So, first thing I've noted down is that Ahsoka mentions Darth Vader. So that's pretty cool, getting her perspective of what she's been up to. That's a cool little thing.
Yeah, exactly. Finding out her adventure and how she got there. And for those who don't know, Ahsoka Tano was the Padawan of Anakin Skywalker between the Clone Wars, that series, between Episode 2 and Episode 3, basically, that they introduce, which is really cool that he had an apprentice. But
Very cool.
Very cool.
So, and the other thing I want to point out very briefly on this bit is that you'll note when the alarm sounds, Chewie heads to the Millennium Falcon out of instinct, because that's what he should be doing, because he is the pilot of the Millennium Falcon.
He's not the pilot, he's the owner of the Millennium Falcon.
He's the owner.
I'd like to make that very clear.
Yeah. It's very important that we mention this regularly, but Chewie is the true pilot and owner of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, support Wookiee
justice
rights.
for Chewie. Yeah. So even in this version, he would probably be scorned for the fact that even though he's clearly the pilot of the Millennium Falcon, they'd still be like, oh yeah, but it's my ship, look after it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Disgusting.
Makes me sick.
Do you have anything else to say about that? Because this was a pretty simple bit of, almost like establishing, I found. So it's them getting ready to
Yeah. I mean,
fight,
there's not much to say about it, really, is there? So yeah, let's just move on, see if we can establish more things and see what's going on. So,
Chewie blasts off Kylo... No, what? Oh, God. Done too much reading today.
Way too much.
Yeah. Chewie blasts Kylo's wings off, and his TIE Executor crash lands onto the surf. As he and Dathan Nod emerge from the smouldering waves, Rey and Ahsoka stand before them, lightsabers blazing. The four combatants duel on the shore of Acto. Kylo fights Rey all the way up to the edge of a cliff. She jumps off the precipice and into the open door of a hovering Millennium Falcon. She runs round the Falcon's circular hallway as Chewie spins the aircraft 180 degrees. She blasts out of the other side with her jetpack on.
Jetpack!
As Kylo's... Yeah, it's the jetpack. All that foreshadowing, it finally paid off.
It certainly did.
As Kylo sprints towards the bell, Rey spirals towards him. Descending, she force pushes a pile of rocks onto him, which he tries to deflect mid-gallop. On the far side of the beach, 3 Knights of Ren jump out of their TIE fighter. Luke, waiting for them with his green lightsaber ablaze, charges. Whoop, yeah, hero moment.
Green lightsaber.
He takes them on, cutting and slicing with his saber and using force push and force lightning to finish them off. This is the badass Luke Skywalker we've all been waiting for. Can't believe they actually wrote that.
Yeah, I know.
They were once his students, now they're dead meat. Luke chases the last knight down the beach until he jumps over the rocks and disturbs the sea creature's cove. The Leviathan lunges from the surf and drags the struggling knight under.
With his greasy tentacles.
Slimily grabbing that Knight of Ren.
Oh dear. As Ahsoka and Dathan Nott duel on the beach, Kylo sprints closer to the bell. He runs up the hill towards it. Just as Rey sets her sights on Kylo, she is barraged with a scattershot of laser fire, which emanates from the second TIE fighter. She blasts up into the air and deflects the lasers with her lightsaber. Expertly piloting her jetpack, she cascades down a cliff and shoots behind the ship as she dodges rear laser fire. She then lands on top of the TIE fighter and slices its wings off. It begins to spiral out of control. She's thrown off, only to fall on top of the Millennium Falcon. Saved again by Chewie!
The true pilot of the Millennium Falcon, most underrated character.
Exactly, the true owner. Yeah. The true owner. Wookiee rights, people. Owner. Wookiee rights. Yeah. She regains her footing, literally surfing the Millennium Falcon. Imagine surfing USA by the Beach Boys.
It doesn't say that.
It doesn't say that, but oh wow. Sorry, yeah. Anyway, she regains her footing, literally surfing the Millennium Falcon, and directs Chewie to drop her next to the bell. Chewie roars as he spies Kylo Ren speeding towards its golden steps. He flies towards it. Rey tries to blast off with her jetpack, but it was damaged in the fall. As soon as Chewie...
Oh,
I know. Sad times. As soon as Chewie reaches the bell, she ditches the jetpack and jumps off, speeding after Kylo, who quickly runs inside. He locates the meditation chamber and grabs the ancient Jedi holocron. Rey force pushes it out of his hands while chasing after him. They ignite their sabers and engage in a brutal duel. Back on the beach, Ahsoka finally
Meanwhile,
not. Yeah, exactly. Knocking her unconscious and hanging her upside down with a... Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So, what do you think of that page?
That was a juicy page of pure action.
Yeah. So a lot of action going on there. There's a few things I'd like to point out. So, firstly, the image of Kylo, Rey, Ahsoka, and Dathan Knight, or whatever her name is.
Dathan Knight.
Them dueling, that's a very cool idea. Like, we did have a lack of, in this new trilogy, more than two people lightsaber dueling. That's what we needed.
Idea.
Was group lightsaber battles, because they're so much cooler. Hence why Duel of the Fates is one of the best lightsaber battles, because it's not two people, it's three people.
Exactly. That is so cool.
They had the crazy idea of like, how about we have more than two people just kind of fencing at each other? You know, it's a very cool idea.
I mean, it is the best duel so far and ever has been.
Absolutely.
In the whole Star Wars saga, really. But yeah, what I like is I like seeing, again, lots of lightsabers. I like a lot of these interesting shots that Rey's doing, flying around, chopping off bits of TIE Fighter. That's really cool.
That's very cool. Again, an influence to The Rise of Skywalker, when she actually cuts the wing off Kylo's TIE Fighter.
Oh yeah, that was a good
Executor.
shot.
Yeah,
that was a great shot. I like the fact that we actually get to see, I think you and I were talking about this ages ago, like seeing Luke battle the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
You know, I think that would have been a cool thing to have seen in the films anyway. But yes, we get that. We get Luke Skywalker battling the Knights of Ren. We get him chopping them up. To quote, now they're dead meat.
Yeah. This I find really weird, because it's one of those things of, Luke, you know, he's being a badass and he's taking them all on. But I feel like Luke brutally murdering his ex-students, that's not very Luke Skywalker, really. Like,
oh, exactly.
Him being more, not necessarily a pacifist, but I don't think he'd want to brutally kill, like, his ex-students, no matter
he's also using Force lightning as well, isn't he? So,
yeah.
I mean, it could be just him accepting that actually, you know, in order for everything to turn out balanced, he needs to kill these people. So maybe he's changed his viewpoint.
It definitely seems a darker turn from this character. To say he's been so, like, happy and jolly the entire story so far, it seems very weird for him to suddenly become a brutal like, the violence in this bit is very, like, brutal, it seems like.
Oh, yeah.
Ahsoka hangs someone. That's awful.
It's great. Kids film, guys. But yeah, no, I really like the fact that Luke in this one is a bit of he's sort of quite aggressive. It definitely beats the actual Episode VIII Luke, who's just a grumpy, moody, sad sack. Like an absolute sack of shit. He's just pointless. But here...
I'm of the opinion of it's hard. I don't really know what I think of it, because now, when I think of the Luke Skywalker we got in Episode VIII, I kind of just think of that as like Luke Skywalker's arc. So this kind of deviating so differently from that, I'm really not sure whether I like it or not. But I'm almost interested. It's like, if this had have been his arc, would I have liked it more? Or is it just the fact that I know this isn't what happened, which makes me dislike it? Like, it's one of those weird things, because it's so many unknown and so many different, like, what ifs.
Yeah, had this been written out as a full screenplay and executed fully, like, would we have really, like, taken it in? It's quite a question. But
I think it kind of suffers more from it being a treatment he seems in this treatment very one-dimensional, but almost in the opposite way of how he felt in The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
So-
we're having to fill in a lot of gaps.
Yeah, and I think that's what suffers of, like you say, it being a treatment, is just the fact that it's just, everything's just so in your face. There's no real nuance to it just yet, because it's still very early in the story development. So maybe I would have liked it more had it become a fully fledged, fully realized film.
Yeah, definitely. Who knows? Too many gaps to fill. We'll never know, really. But yeah,
So-
I think... You got anything else to say, sorry?
Oh, I was going to say, one thing I would mention, this is on a different tangent now. I want to read out a passage again, because this bit really confused me.
Yeah.
So it's Kylo fights Rey all the way to the edge of a cliff. She jumps off the precipice and into the open door of the hovering Millennium Falcon. Okay, cool. I get that. Then it says, she runs round the Falcon's circular hallway as Chewie spins the aircraft 180 degrees. She blasts off the other side with her jetpack on. Right. So she runs round the circular corridor and he spins the ship 180 degrees.
What?
Why
does
didn't
that
she
work?
just stand still whilst the ship turned?
That's a very good point. What?
I've read this bit like 4 times now and it still confuses me. Like, was there a door on the other side which she ran out? But surely that would mean she'd jump back onto the same cliff?
It's
It's one of those things of, if this just happened in the film, I'd just get it because it's a visual thing. But me just reading this now, I'm really confused.
Exactly. The treatment aspect is quite throwing, I'd say. Like it's been like thrown together a little bit roughly, and it's not really making much sense.
Oh yeah, I'm just so confused by that bit. Like, I've just got this image in my head of like Chewie turning the ship round slowly whilst Rey just runs around the circular bit or the circular corridor of the Millennium Falcon. It's just like, can't stop running, gotta keep running.
Gotta keep up with the turning.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
But other than that, I'm just so glad to see that all that jetpack foreshadowing actually paid off.
It's finally paid off. Jetpack time. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yay, jetpack, yay.
And
really
to be
like
honest, the image of her like going up against a TIE fighter with a jetpack on, that's pretty cool. Like her deflecting TIE fighter bolts, wearing a jetpack, like that's crazy and bonkers, and I kind of love it.
Yeah, I know. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Wish we could see some of that.
Absolutely, yeah. So shall we move on to the penultimate page, our second to last? Do you want to go first?
Yeah. I'll do the first few bits. So meanwhile in orbit, Captain Phasma's ship finally reaches Act 2. Or Acto. She aims her ventral cannon towards Luke's island. Just as they're about to decimate it, Poe, Finn, and their squadron of X-Wings come out of hyperspace. They bombard her ship with proton torpedoes and laser fire, crippling it. BB-8 drops out of an exhaust shaft and is picked up by Poe. He and Finn immediately fly down to Acto.
Back to the bell. Rey and Kylo fight like 2 cats in a bag. Okay.
Nice.
Kylo disarms Rey, who, lying in the center of the meditation chamber, cradles the Jedi holocron for dear life. It begins to glow and steam. Just as Kylo raises his dreaded crossguard lightsaber to deliver Rey's death blow, he's suddenly frozen. Luke's young son, Tius, appears from the shadows, holding Kylo in stasis with the Force. Luke's daughter, Kay, jumps up and punches a red button on the wall, locking both Rey and Kylo under an impenetrable force field. They got him. Luke and Ahsoka arrived. Kylo taunts Luke. I can still kill her, you know. Are you really going to keep me trapped here forever with her corpse? That's gross.
Yuck.
As Kylo struggles to break free... As Kylo struggles to break free and go for...
Oh dear, they spelled break wrong. It says beak free.
It's thrown me. As Kylo struggles to
Kylo's just using his
free
beak to just bash through the force. Kylo has a beak in this one. As well as like the mecha suit. It's the beak.
He's got a mecha suit and a beak. Oh, God.
Brilliant. Kylo beak.
As Kylo struggles to beak free and go in for the kill, break free, Rey grabs the holocron with both hands. It smokes and flashes with a feverish intensity. Kylo, slowly fighting the force stasis, brings his saber down closer to her exposed neck. Suddenly, Rey flickers in and out of existence, like before, but then she disappears. Kylo is dumbfounded. Luke smiles. You always were gullible, Kylo. No wonder Snoke so easily turned you. Now you're our prisoner for eternity. Poe and Finn finally make their way to the meditation chamber. Luke tells them they've beaten Kylo, but Rey is gone.
Dun, dun, dun. Very good. Very good. Back on Snoke's planet of Sacrum, Leia's strike team arrives. They get into a firefight with Snoke's royal guards, and most of them are killed. One bounty hunter, Kilmiturg, might as well be one bounty hunter, Kermit the Frog, does make it to the lower levels. One bounty hunter, Kilmiturg, does make it to the lower levels of what seems to be a laboratory. He enters a frozen chamber and sees something displayed in a glass case. He takes a holographic picture of it and sends it to General Leia. Just as the transmission goes through, Erg's neck is broken. As his limp body falls to the floor, we see Snoke standing behind him in a nappy, his crippled hand. It doesn't say in a nappy.
Oh, dear.
I'll say that again. We see Snoke standing behind him, his crippled hand extended. Admiral Akbar receives an image and runs it towards General Leia's quarters. She looks at it, mouth agape, and says, "It's a severed hand. My brother's severed hand." The question is, what are they using it for? I mean, well, if you've got a hand lying around, I could only imagine what you're using it for, Snoke, you dirty dog.
Yes, quite the cliffhanger. So that's the end of page 11. So a few things there, a few little tasty tidbits. You know, you get that cool dogfight on Acto, or the unknown planet. And one of the lines I just find hilarious. Firstly, there was the beak one, where they forget the typo. That was brilliant. But like,
that was good.
The line, Rey and Kylo fight like two cats in a bag. Like, what a weird
What does that even mean?
I don't
Two cats in a
don't know what
bag.
that means.
I have no idea.
Ah, good grief.
I find it quite amusing though, like that they I don't know, the way he like explains things. If it was him, you know, the way he's like describing quite a lot of things are very like how else do you like punny? Like they're quite, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're just
like,
it's
very strange. But one thing I did enjoy was Luke's children using the Force. That was very cool. Like,
it was
seeing his family, you know, if you're going to have Luke's family in it, obviously you're going to make his children Force sensitive, which is very cool.
Obviously. Goes without saying. They need to be Force sensitive because he's got to train someone. He's creating his own clone army.
Yeah, his little clone army of himself, yeah.
Why on earth not?
Yeah. One thing I will say, which is very evident from this page, is that Luke is a dick to Kylo. Like,
I know,
he's so mean.
You were always gullible, Kylo. No wonder Snoke so easily turned you. Now you're our prisoner for eternity.
You were so rubbish. I can't believe you fell for that. Oh, wait, I can because you're so dumb.
You just got pranked, dude.
Is so mean. Like, that's awful. That guy's your nephew. And also, like, he was tempted by the dark side. Your dad did the same thing.
Yeah, and you forgave him.
Mean. Yeah.
You're not forgiving Kylo, just tearing into him.
Yeah. Clearly, Luke did not like Kylo. Even, like, before he turned to the dark side, he was just like, nah, this kid's annoying.
Very weird.
But then there's of course, the big reveal. that Snoke has Luke's severed hand. And I'm not going to lie, I honestly can't think what or where this is going.
Yeah, what could he do with the severed hand? Create another Luke to defeat Luke? I mean, I have no idea.
I don't know. This is bonkers. I mean, maybe it would explain how, one thing which might come of it is it would explain how Maz got the lightsaber. If they found Luke's hand, clearly they also found the lightsaber probably.
Yeah. If it was stuck together, say the hand went into rigor mortis or something and the lightsaber was gripped in, by the hand and that was falling down. Yeah, that could have been a thing that was caught together
possibly.
Easily, yeah.
But it's a really strange I'm not going to lie, I'm very intrigued. What's with the hand,
Yeah.
What's going on?
What's going on here? Why does he have a hand just lying around?
Yeah. It reminds me of, again, another outside reference from Star Wars is there's an episode of Doctor Who, The Christmas Invasion, where it's David Tennant's first episode and he loses a hand in a sword fight, which is it's a cheeky little Star Wars reference, I always think. But because he's regenerating, he can just immediately grow a new hand. And then later on in the series, you find out that Captain Jack, with his work with Torchwood, he's located the hand. So as soon as I saw this image of a hand in a tank, my immediate thought was of Doctor Who with the Doctor's hand just in a little tank in the corner.
Yeah, of course. And then he keeps it on the TARDIS, doesn't he? Yeah.
And then it grows into another Doctor. So maybe they were going for that. Maybe they were going to grow an evil Luke Skywalker.
Ooh, I like the idea. I really do like the idea.
I don't. That's a terrible idea.
No, but except, you have standard Luke Skywalker who's dressed in all white. And then, evil Luke Skywalker's like full black, got eyeshadow on.
Yeah.
Really proper dark, proper leather coat on, black leather coat.
But they did that in is it Superman 3 when there's evil Superman?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that would have been terrible, to be fair.
I mean, in fairness, this film came out after, but it was also in Logan as well, where there was an evil clone of Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
It just seems very weird to have an evil Luke Skywalker.
It's mental.
And I'm just imagining if that was what they were trying to do, the de-aging effects on him that they would try to do, because it would be a young Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
That would be weird.
Yeah, that'd be a bit trippy.
That would be insane.
Oh, definitely. So,
without further ado, do you want to...
Oh, I was actually going to say one thing,
oh, yeah, go for it,
Just a quick thing about, there being no, Kylo's obviously still very much a dark side user, very evil in this one. I don't think he's struggling with anything, it seems. He's very happy to want to kill Rey.
After his training with Snoke, it seems he's now thoroughly dark side, very determined and focused in his cause after killing Han Solo.
No, exactly. It feels like that was the thing that sort of sealed his dark side training and made him, completely let go of that sort of lighter side to him. But yeah, very interesting. Rey disappearing as well. What's happening there?
Oh, yes. What's
Kylo
happening
is
with
certainly
that?
Dumbfounded. I'm very much dumbfounded.
I am also dumbfounded.
Well, exactly. Well, this is the final page 13, and it starts with epilogue. Rey appears back in the Sith Acropolis on the Platinum Throne. Ooh, remember that's referencing back. 300 generations ago in the Old Republic, her eyes glow red. Many loyal subjects bow before her and chant.
She is visibly shaken. Where is she? How did she get here? Rey is trapped in the past. She is now Talston Leet. The end.
That's the end of that one. How did you guys like that? I mean,
wow. That's bonkers. We've been mentioning it for a few episodes, but confirmed time travel in Star Wars.
Yep, time travel is happening. Very, very weird thing to throw in there.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know that time travel is very divisive. Not everyone, you just can't do it right, I feel. Even like the Avengers movies, there are things where you'd go, well, you can nitpick.
They did it well, but they had to spend so much time explaining like the time travel to the audience because it could just get so confusing. And it's the thing of it, that's not a criticism of the movie. That's just something you have to do in these time travel stories, is really establish your rules. And I think with this one, I mean, it's Star Wars, time travel in Star Wars. I don't know what I think about that. But also they've kind of played it safe in the fact that she's gone so far in the past that it won't, or at least they can get away with it not affecting the actual Skywalker saga too much.
Yeah, exactly. And also she is a person from the past.
Yeah.
Assuming like that is the case.
That's what she's saying, yeah, is that her and Taliesin Elite are the same person.
Which is, I mean, it's a cool idea. The idea that you can live through many different like sort of generations, and maybe even like, you know, the idea that Palpatine can live in different bodies. Maybe like Taliesin can do the same. You know,
it's very interesting, and the idea that Taliesin Elite is a Dark Force or a Sith as well. That's very interesting.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
I like the idea, as I was saying earlier, of female Sith Lords and Sith Witches and whatever. And I feel like that's a cool little glimpse, you know, into that.
Yeah.
I definitely feel it's this would certainly have had me more shocked than the ending of Last Jedi.
Yes.
I think it would have been a very jarring ending.
Yeah, weirdly, The Last Jedi, the ending of The Last Jedi, they'd been depleted, you know, a lot of people have died, they weren't necessarily in a good place, but that almost felt like it could have been the end of the trilogy, almost, because even though they'd kind of lost, there was that definitive thing of like, oh, there's always hope, there'll always be rebellion, people will always rebel. And so it was this weird, The Last Jedi was an opportunity at the end of it where you could almost reset a bit and kind of go in a different direction. I mean, that's not what they did, but it literally, at the end of The Last Jedi, I had no idea what they were going to do, where they were going to go with it. Whereas with this one, it's clearly another...
Yeah, it's an immediate setup, isn't it? We kind of know what's coming, what like has to happen from this.
Yeah, kind of like the end of Episode 7, really.
Yeah, definitely.
It definitely harkens to JJ Abrams' like mystery box style of storytelling, where it kind of just gives us more questions, really. Like from this version of Episode 8, we don't really get anything about Rey's parentage, which was a big part of Episode 7. Like we don't really see any of that. We don't see things like why. Well, we kind of understand why she's force sensitive and stuff, but there's still you come away with a lot of questions after reading this treatment. Oh,
definitely. And you'd hope that if they did turn it into an actual script, you know, presuming that this was real, that they'd fill in those gaps mostly. I mean, saying that, us looking at the newest trilogy, we've found a fair few gaps, and there's a lot of things where they haven't actually filled it with like external books or whatever. But we can still imagine that he'd definitely do more with it and really sort of like pull it out, stretch it a bit. But
absolutely.
General Leia only had like 2 lines in that whole thing, didn't she? Fucking hell.
Yeah, one thing I think about it is it's very Luke and Rey focused, which, you know, that's not a criticism really. I enjoy both those characters, but one of my favorite parts of The Last Jedi was you really got to know Kylo Ren as a character, whereas in this version he feels very like, I'm just the baddie type thing again. And Poe and Finn, they don't really have character arcs. Like, say what you will about The Last Jedi, at least they had some kind of character arcs. Like Poe learned to be like a commander. Finn went through this arc of learning to be like a rebel and stuff.
Yeah.
But in this one, they don't really... Not that they don't do anything, but they're just kind of fighting for the resistance. It seems to suffer the same thing which Episode 9 did, of not really knowing what to do with those characters, because they had this clear idea of what they would do for Luke and Rey, but for all these other characters, they just didn't know what to do with them.
And Ahsoka, there's not like, I don't know what they were planning on doing with Ahsoka. She was just there.
Yeah,
just turned up and did stuff, and that was fine. I mean, I think it's a good introduction, good to have more Force users, fair play. But I mean, she doesn't offer. I mean, the story would be exactly the same if she wasn't there.
Yeah, that was pure fan service, really. Like I said this in a previous episode, but I would have much preferred it if that third Force user in the prophecy was someone like Finn or Poe or like a new character. Or it turned out that like Luke wasn't one of the three and the three was actually Rey, Poe and Finn. That would have been interesting as well to have seen.
Yeah, exactly. Sort of we've made these characters. You know, these characters were made by JJ Abrams in episode 7, like Finn, Rey, especially and Poe. You'd expect those characters to be sort of a bigger focus in the next episode, and I think it would have been really cool to have seen Finn, and I've said this before, be a bit more Force sensitive, like train with Luke as well. What's the harm?
Yes.
I think that would have been really cool. Yeah, Rey can be the star student, but Finn can be there for fun.
Yeah.
A bit of, a bit of training. Here we are, turn up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same criticism we had of the new trilogy of just give us more Force users, give us more people using the Force, more people using lightsabers. That's what we want to see.
Yeah, that's what Star Wars fans like us just we absolutely cream over. Love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely
love it to bits.
Yeah, not really sure how to feel about it. I think for me anyway, at least the way they treated the beginning, I preferred it personally. Mm-hmm. I don't think I enjoyed some other aspects of it. I like the idea of Grey Jedi being a thing. I always have. I think that's a really interesting way to look at it. If we're going for that idea that the Force has to be balanced by having a dark side user and a light side user, then the idea that people should just embrace the Grey Jedi culture is actually, for me, a better way of explaining balance in the Force rather than it being more... Or sort of like not explaining it as such, but finding a way to sort of conclude it. Do you know what I mean? Make balance in the Force, if that's what you're going for. So I think that's a really, really cool aspect. Luke using a bit of Force lightning. Whatever, That's pretty cool.
Bit of Force lightning, cheekily killing his old Padwans,
Exactly.
runs in the family, I guess.
But no mention of Maz Kanata.
Nope, she wasn't in it at all.
No.
That's a lost cause.
No. Our 1,000-year-old Force-using Tangerine did not make an appearance.
No, she did not.
But that's why also another reason why I think maybe it wasn't JJ Abrams, because I have a weird feeling he probably would have put her in if he could.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, part of me feels like this treatment, again, it's an early draft. It's probably not finished. But it feels weirdly detached from The Force Awakens. And I don't know whether that's because I kind of, in my head, think of The Last Jedi as the sequel to The Force Awakens. So it goes away from things I expect to see.
Yeah.
Or if it's just that it seems to forget about things it was setting up in The Force Awakens and stuff. And it just seemed to go in very strange places.
Definitely
it felt very almost fan fiction-y, which makes me think it's not JJ Abrams.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I would hope he'd be better at writing than that.
And spelling. Kylo Ren and his beak,
Yeah. Maybe it's that, or maybe this treatment thing is literally just his kind of like wish list of things he wanted to see.
It could easily have been like LucasArts sent him an email being like, just let us know what kind of idea you have in the next few days, and he literally just blah, 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 send, and didn't really think about the spelling or whatever. But do you know what? I think it would have been interesting to see JJ Abrams take on the whole trilogy. I have a feeling I still would have had problems with the new trilogy had JJ Abrams done it all, but at least I could have said it as a set worked well. Yeah. I think it would have been interesting. I at least would have come away from it being like, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
There would have been definite moments where I would have been like, oh, cool, Luke and his green lightsaber, fight the lightsaber, kind of nerdy kind of, whoa, this is so cool. Getting me the feels, but...
Yeah, the thing with the idea of JJ Abrams doing the whole trilogy is that there's this thing for me where he liked his, what do you call it, mystery box storytelling. And this, for me, like I said, just felt like more mystery box storytelling. So I the worry for me would be is like, he's great at setting up these things, but he doesn't really, as we kind of saw a bit with Rise of Skywalker, he doesn't really stick the landing well. So my worry would be that you would have two films which were like, oh, these are great, we've got so many questions, it's building up to this big thing. But I still worry that like maybe the third one in the trilogy, if he did it would have just flopped, stuck the landing. Yeah,
like it's difficult to know, and I suppose we'll never really know. But it's
impossible to tell. Yeah.
One thing I did enjoy about Last Jedi was the booby dinosaurs. So thank goodness for them.
You didn't get that. You got weird tentacle creature, greasy tentacles in this one.
No, we don't want tentacle creatures. We want booby dinosaurs. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I really want to know where blue milk comes from. Get me more booby dinosaurs.
It's one of the biggest questions I had from the original trilogy was, where did that blue milk come from?
Exactly. And I feel like that's pretty cool. I did enjoy the temple carers or whatever they're called. The nuns. They were pretty cool as well.
The Lanai caretakers, I believe they're called.
Interesting takes. But again, like another little like cap was the little Han Solo funeral. That was nice.
Yes, that was nice to see. It's weird that in this there's a lot of things I don't like, but there are a few things which I think, that's a really good idea. Like if they just put that in, like more mentions of Han Solo's death. Like when you think about it, Han Solo's death, it's kind of like Obi-Wan. Well, it's very similar to Obi-Wan's in A New Hope. But even though Obi-Wan died in A New Hope, his presence, I know he could return as a Force ghost, but his presence was felt throughout the entire rest of the trilogy. Yeah. Whereas with this one, yes, he returned in Episode 9 a bit for like a memory trip, but his death wasn't really mentioned much post Episode 7. I mean, there was a bit in The Last Jedi when Luke was like, where's Han? And Rey was just like, he's dead.
Yeah. He gone. Yeah, I think it is a shame that we didn't get more like Han like mentions, definitely. But I think that's might have been to do with like, I don't know, Harrison Ford wanting to just step away.
Determined to
but
be.
But then he got dragged back in Episode 9 because Carrie Fisher died.
Yes.
To basically do what I assume was meant to be Carrie Fisher's speech.
Yeah, when I watched that scene, it definitely seems like that was going to be Carrie Fisher originally.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's like, because it kind of, I know like things change and people change, but it kind of undermines that moment in Episode 7 when they go through the same kind of conversation and Kylo Ren's just like, nope, gonna kill you. It's almost like,
well, then
in terms of the story, they've already had this conversation. Like, I know he's in a different place in terms of his character, but it just seemed it was a very weird, touching scene. I think it would have been better if it had been with Carrie Fisher, but obviously that wasn't an option.
Yeah,
it just
can't always get what we want.
Yeah,
no, but
as the Rolling Stones once said, those famous millionaires, you can't always get what you want.
But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. I really enjoyed this one because Luke didn't die. I think that for me is just brilliant. Obviously, like he can die.
Winner, chicken dinner.
He can die, but I'd rather of him. Like, I'd rather he died in like a big sort of fight, if you know what I mean, like an actual physical fight. I don't think the way he died, just I'm just really tired. Whoops.
I mean, he used all of his energy projecting himself across the universe.
That's not a good enough reason for me.
That's not good enough.
That is not a good enough reason. But I did enjoy the fact that he survived and is going to stick around in this sort of, it would have been echo chamber for Episode 9.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to have seen where they would take Luke's character. Because I guess if you did an Episode 9 from this script, you would have almost two timelines of Rey in the past. And it's like, how would Rey in the past really affect what's going on in the present timeline?
It would have been very confusing, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been very strange. I'm interested to see if I can ever find an episode 9 treatment that they did, that definitely doesn't exist. If we're pretty sure this one's fake, that episode 9 one definitely doesn't exist.
Exactly.
But yeah,
exactly.
I would have been so interested to see how they would have dug themselves out of this hole.
Oh, definitely.
Because it's a cool concept, but when you think about how you're actually going to tie it back together again, that's very difficult.
Amen. Amen to that. Yeah. Very tricky. How'd you get yourself out of that hole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, I believe that brings us to a close.
Also, one shout out to Admiral Akbar surviving another film.
Oh, yeah. Admiral Akbar. That's great.
Yeah. He
got a mention.
Die for no reason.
Yeah.
Yay, he's still there, and he can do something heroic in the 9th film.
Admiral Akbar. Woo.
Yes, it's probably right that he does die, but in a heroic way in episode 9.
Yes. But yes, that brings us to a close on this little trilogy of episodes. I hope you've enjoyed this. I know this is a bit different from what we advertised last time of a Rogue One episode, but don't worry, those are still coming.
They're still in the works. Don't you worry. We'll be whipping them out at some point in the future. But we just thought, just because we came across this and thought this is really interesting, want to sort of go through it in a few episodes and share it with you guys.
We saw it and thought we had to do it, mainly because no one else that I've seen has really been talking about this. So I kind of wanted to get it out there and say to people, this exists. What do we think of this?
Yeah. Well, let us know. Leave us comments. Message us, post stuff, whatever you want to do. Let us know what you thought of this and your take on it as well. But thank you for listening to another episode of How Uncivilized. And yes, until the next one, ladies and gents, Goodbye
there.
Goodbye
at the same time.
There.
Nice. Nailed it. Thanks for listening to episode 15 of the How Uncivilized podcast. If you like what we do here, then check out our social media and let us know what you would like to hear next. We have plenty of ideas, but we always want to hear yours too. Also, why not check out our Lego Star Wars playthrough, available on YouTube now.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, where we do lots of posts, Twitter, where we do lots of posts, YouTube, where our playthrough is, SoundCloud, and Reddit. How Uncivilized was created, produced, and edited by Charlie Feasby and Spencer Lawrence.